Yo, what's good guys, LucaMAEntertainment here, bringing you guys a Showdown team building video, I suppose you want to call it. Now, I am aware I do have Pokemon Sienna going on as well, but what I'm going to do is, I'm kind of made my return to YouTube by bringing a new series a bit too early. I made it a bit too premature, if you know what I mean. Obviously, with the Crown Tundra being out for a little bit over a week now, I thought I should probably show some competitive stuff about the new Pokemon, and in this case, I'm going to be showing off Regieleki. Now, personally, out of the two new Regis, or out of any of the new Pokemon, I preferably like this Pokemon. Sorry, my mouth just can't speak today, but still, this is one of my favorites out of the new Pokemon because literally, its ability is kind of broken. Like, look at it. It's got this Pokemon's attacking stat is multiplied by 1.5 when using an electric attack. So basically, this has a built-in choice specs, and if you run choice specs as well, you're basically set. You win everything, and it's on top of that, it's the fastest out of all the Regis. Like, it's got 200 speed, or well, yeah, 200 speed is base, but still 200 base speed. So it's kind of broken. So also I named it General Budo because if you don't get a reference, that's a great name. But if you get it, then you're great. But still, anyway, let us move on. I'm also going to move my little thing that's recording over here. I cannot move that. Wow. All right, I'm going to have to leave it like that. But still, oh well. So yeah, we got Smoke on in the background open as well, but I'm just going to leave it as it is right now. But anyway, so as you see, we're going to do a bit of a team building around Regieleki, like I've been mentioning over and over, but still. So personally, I'm going to run the new move, Thunder Cage. So Thunder Cage, 80 power move, and it's basically, if we read it, it traps and damages. It's basically electric fire spin, if you think about it. On top of that, it's 80 power, so it's actually better than Fire Spin, better than Whirlpool, and better than any of like the binding moves that keep you trapped for ages. So that's a really good attack. So, and for a signature attack, it's actually pretty good as well. 24 PP at max, or does this automatically give a PP max? I'm not too sure, but still. Next, obviously, for any electric type, you want to run Volt Switch. Volt Switch, personally, I think is a good like utility move for any electric Pokemon, or any Pokemon that can learn it has, because you could just get out of there if you need to. And on top of that, Regieleki is quite fast, so you don't need to worry about not being able to outspeed. But just in case you don't outspeed, I would go for a Rapid Spin. Rapid Spin not only gets rid of rocks in this generation, but it also raises your speed by 1 stage. So that's personally another good thing about Rapid Spin. So I know if we're going to run a Timid Nature, which we most likely are, Rapid Spin won't be the most useful thing in the world, but we don't really need Rapid Spin to be like, we're going to run a Timid Nature, but we want the fastest thing possible. But obviously, if you want to Dynamax this, the choice specs thing doesn't matter. You won't be locked into Rapid Spin after that. And on top of that, after your Dynamax runs out, you can lock yourself into anything, and you'll be, what's it called? You'll be fast as shit as well, so you'll be good there. And for the last move, we're going to add, what is it called? I think it's Rising Voltage. I completely forgot what it was called, but still. This move was introduced in the Isle of Armor. It is basically an electric attack that has double the power if the Pokemon is grounded in electric terrain. So this Pokemon is basically broken. So basically, we're gonna run max speed, and we're gonna max special attack. And for the last one, I'd say run maybe a bit of attack as well, honestly, because that way you can do it. So obviously we're gonna run that and minus attack, but still, regardless, this is a really good nature. Timid doesn't really help Rapid Spin, but still, we're not going to be using Rapid Spin at all times. We're probably going to be using it once, and maybe twice if there are rocks on the field, but that's only in case there are certain Pokemon that you don't outspeed. For example, I know Dragapult is probably one of the fastest ones in the game, and this Mon I think is on par with Dragapult's speed. I'm pretty sure Dragapult's max speed, like, I'm not 100% sure, like, its base speed is 421, I'm pretty sure. And it's pretty fast, and this thing already goes up to 548 when it's on Timid Nature too, with speed investment, so it's pretty good. So yeah, but anyway, enough about Regieleki. Now we're going to be working on teammates. So obviously, this team, I'm going to base it around maybe Battle, Stadium Singles, and maybe Doubles, and you can maybe use this in VGC as well if you wanted to, but now obviously, that's up to you. Obviously, that's how I was going to say. But obviously, as you saw, we did have Rising Voltage. So that means you obviously know we're going to add a Pokemon with electric terrain. So we could either add Tapu Koko, which is a new addition with the Crown Tundra, obviously. So that's a pretty good choice to add. But I feel like everyone is going to be using Tapu Koko, and I feel like Tapu Koko is going to be one of those Pokemon that's going to be immediately banned when the new season comes, or when it was kind of already here, is it? I don't really know, but still, Tapu Koko I feel like will be used by everyone, and it's going to be so expected. On top of that, everyone's going to run the same stuff. So if you want to run something a bit lower tier, I would run Pinchurin. Now, I'm not 100% sure. I've never used this Pokemon in my life. I'm not even going to lie. So we're going to run the Electric Surge ability. I would run the Terrain Extender so we can have that Electric Terrain on as long as possible. So we can have the max 8 turns. So, yeah. Pinchurin, I've never really used it before. Because when I heard about Tapu Koko coming to the DLC, or all the legends coming to the DLC, so I meant Tapu Koko. And obviously that will help. Excuse me, my throat just went crap there, but still. Tapu Koko is one of those Pokemon that obviously will be used by everyone who's using an electric team. Like I've already seen in ranks, when I haven't gone into rank myself with obviously Tapu Koko because you can't bring any of the new Pokemon to ranked yet for some reason. But I've seen Electivire Tapu Koko, I've seen Alolan Raichu Tapu Koko. I have not seen this thing anywhere, so I thought if I add this thing, maybe it will be a good addition. So obviously we're going to run, we need an attacking move, Discharge. So that's just good for coverage, and look, it will be good in double battles. On top of that, Regieleki resists an electric attack if you're going into doubles, so that'll be fine. And on top of that, if you're doing singles, it works as well. Next, obviously we run Recover, because we need recovery, and on top of that, this thing is quite fat, so it can live quite a few hits if you're honest, but if I'm honest, I say. But that's depending how you run its stats and all that type of stuff. Next, I would say Toxic Spikes, 100%, because Toxic Spikes, again, if you can get 2 layers up, you'll be badly poisoned, so basically you'll have the same effect as Toxic. And on top of that, any like pesky ground Pokemon that you run into and you just need to Volt Switch out, or even if you're running U-Turn, you could run, I don't know if Regieleki learns U-Turn, but regardless, if it did, like if, for example, again, if we go back to Regieleki's if it got Ice Beam, this would be broken because it will have so much coverage for ground types. And on top of that, we don't even have to worry about ground. With its speed, it would be impossible to beat if it had Ice Beam. But of course, it does not. That's where they gave it basically all Electric Stab. Excuse me, I have a sneeze coming in there and just turned into a cough, but oh well. But still, yeah, if it gave it Ice Beam, it would be kind of broken. But still, it only gets electric coverage, it gets Ancient Power, and I think it gets a bunch of normal moves as well. It gets Hyper Beam, Extreme Speed, as you saw, it gets Rapid Spin as well. But still, it gets quite a few good moves. And for our last move, I'm going to run Memento on Pinchurin. Now, this is a recommended nature. It says physically defensive. But I'm going to go, we're obviously going to go physically defensive. We're going to go max defense. I would go max HP as well. And maybe a tad bit of special defense as well. So I would make this thing relaxed, in my honest opinion. Relax is not even a bad nature, so yeah, so it'll be a nice bulky mon. On top of that, its defenses are pretty good for a tiny little electric Pokemon. It only has one weakness, so yeah. So it's not even that bad of a Pokemon. We'll come up with nicknames for them later on, but still, we'll probably use this team in a separate video, because what I'm going to be doing, in one video I'm going to be building the team, and another video I'm going to be battling with the team. So that's how it's going to roll. Next up, we're going to need to figure out our weaknesses. So obviously, we have 2 electric types at the moment. Ground types completely destroy us. So, what I want to do is, I thought of something that could actually help, because we have our main 2. These are going to be our main 2. So next up, I thought, why not use Hawlucha? Hawlucha, again, one of those Pokemon I really like using, one of my personal favorites actually. So again, we run the Unburdened ability with the Electric Seed because we have the Electric Terrain. Because Electric Seed, if you don't know what it does, basically if you're in terrain, God damn it. It raises your defense by 1 stage, and it's only a single use, obviously. And with Unburden, you'll raise your speed by like doubled. So exactly, and it'll be a great addition as well. So personally, with an Electric Seed, because there was a Grassy Seed set for this, but I didn't see any Electric Seed for this. So what I thought is we just run the same set, we just run an Electric Seed instead. So you probably know it, it's in the OU tier, I cannot type. So we go for a nice Sword Stance. Yeah, so that will be raise our attack, and plus we'll outspeed everything. And all Hawlucha has to really worry about is Psychic types, not really Rock types because you're outspeed, and I think you'll live a Rock hit. And plus it raises your defense as well, and most Rock types are physical. Bar a few maybe like Cradilly, well Cradilly we don't have to worry about, it's a Grass type, but still. any special rock types kind of are a threat. So special attackers, basically, we're gonna have to worry about. So basically, you run sword stance, you outspeed, and you'll be good. Next, I would say run acrobatics, obviously, because if you lose your item, it does more damage, and you'll have a sword stance up as well. Next up, run close combat, because with the new addition to TRs, Holucha now gets access to close combat, so that'll be a good fighting stab. And lastly, I would run either taunt or roost, in my honest opinion, but I think you should run roost because having recovery will be really good, and plus you'll be grounded, so anyone who wants to hit you with like a rock attack, it'll be resisted because you lose your flying typing for a turn. So I would run, personally, I would run an adamant nature. So obviously you run that, and then you lose your special attack. So yeah, run an adamant nature with this thing. You could run Jolly as well, it's really up to you, but I don't think you'll need Jolly because you want to go for more power, because if you have Electric Sea plus Unburden, you already have quite a high speed stat, so I would run more power than speed on a Holucha like this. So, and on top of that, you'll guarantee live any physical hits, at least one hit you'll live, but just don't keep it out against psychic types or any special ice types. Basically, just don't keep it out against anything threatening. But obviously, Holucha is not the only thing we can add to the team. So obviously, as you know, electric types only meet to ground types, and we don't have anything to counter ground types. Obviously, Holucha doesn't get hit with ground types apart from when it lands with Roost. So I thought we want to bring a water type, but water types are also weak to electric, and we already have our Lucha in that case, so we don't really need two electric weaknesses either. So I thought bring Swampert. Swampert would be a great addition. So we run either, you can run Torrent or Damp, it's really up to you, but I'll just run Damp in this case. I'm going to run Leftovers because Leftover Swampert, Recovery, it's a bulky water type. On top of that, there is no Mega Swampert in this game, unfortunately, so no Megas, sad times, no Swift Swim Rain Dance. But still, I would run, because we're going to be running mostly physical, and plus, this Swampert's going to be like our tank against other electric types, and it's going to be our tank against ground types as well, to be honest. So, I would run Waterfall, Earthquake, this is like the standard Swampert set, and Ice Punch. And then for your last move, it's really up to you for what you run, because you have Waterfall for stab, Earthquake for stab, then you have Ice Punch for those pesky grass types, which honestly, that's if Swampert outspeeds, but that's really up to you if Swampert outspeeds or not. So it really depends. But still, obviously you can run Toxic, you can run Superpower, but in my case, I think I'm going to run Protect. Protect is going to be kind of better. If it doesn't work out, obviously, like for every team, you need to test and repeat. If Protect doesn't work out, we'll run either Superpower or we'll run Toxic. Now, obviously, I'm going to be trying using this in my actual Pokemon Shield file game, if you want to know what I mean, but still. So, yeah, that's how we're going to run it. But still, again, this is another Pokemon I would either run Relax or Adamant, but in this case, because we want to go for all damage, I would run maybe Adamant, so I would maybe raise either defense or HP if I was honest with you. But still, I think HP will be best. We're on a bit of speed as well. Actually, the Swampert's not the fastest thing. Now you know what? We're gonna run a bit of defense there. A bit of defense. So we'll run nice and Adamant nature. Oh. So we'll run nice and Adamant nature. I cannot. Okay, there. So yeah, you can either run, this is another Pokemon you can run Relax or Adamant, or if you want to run a special Swampert, that will actually help as well. You can run Modest or Timid, it doesn't matter, well maybe Modest, because Timid is not that great, because Swampert again, it's not the fastest Pokemon. Look at that speed stat, it's 156. I was considering putting speed into it, but it's mainly just going to be all power, this Swampert, so yeah, just don't run anything else unless you need to. But yeah, you could either run Leftovers or Choice Band, that's another thing I forgot to mention. So Leftovers Choice Band is quite good for Swampert, but personally I want to run Leftovers because we need some sort of recovery on this Swampert, because Swampert is kind of going to be our stable, but against other electric types and ground types, because those are like the main things we need to be worried about, because Holucha can handle the grass types perfectly fine. But obviously we need another thing for grass types as well, which brings me to our next member. So I'm thinking, okay, Holucha's weak to psychic types, it's weak to flying types, so flying types we've got to cover with electric types. So psychic types is one thing we didn't have covered. So I was thinking, there was one or two Pokemon I was thinking to add. So it was either going to be Bishop, which honestly wouldn't be a bad choice, but I'm looking at the team, other than Swampert, and maybe Pinchurin if it can live maybe a hit, I don't know. But I've never used Pinchurin, so it's going to be an experimental procedure. So if Pinchurin doesn't work, like I said, we'll go on to and use Tapu Koko. But that's really up to me. And we'll see how it works. But personally, if obviously Swampert and Pinchurin are not bulky enough, I thought, okay, next thing that would be good to handle like ground types, or not ground types, other electric types, and even wall out psychic types, I thought Ferrothorn. Now, Ferrothorn is one of those Pokemon that can be used quite differently. It's quite versatile. So obviously, you know the regular Ferrothorn set. You run Rocky Helmet, Iron Barbs, great set. If you don't, then you can either run... Actually, if you don't, there's another set you could use. You could use an all-out offensive set. You can use like Choice Banded... Actually, not Choice Banded Curse. You can run Leftovers Curse with Body Press, Power Whip, maybe Bulldoze to lower that speed as well. But that's really up to you. But personally, I like the Rocky Helmet Iron Barb sets. You can even run Leftovers instead of Rocky Helmet, but that's up to you. Rocky Helmet just for additional damage for physical attackers. Just don't keep this thing against a fire type. And plus, if you keep it against a fire type, you just have Swampert, you just have to predict it, and yeah. But yeah, personally, obviously, again, like I was saying before, I will run Stealth Rocks. I would run Leech Seed. I will run Body Press. And for the last move, Knock Off, because Knock Off is very good and you can knock off whatever item you got. And on top of that, if you can knock off the item, I'm pretty sure a Knock Off does more damage than you have an item, does it not? Yeah, it does. It does a bit more damage. So yeah. Again, this is another Pokemon you can run either Impish or Relax, but personally, do we need... I want to run Impish, but I think I'm going to run Relax on this thing too, but we need kind of a bit of... It doesn't have much speed. If I'm looking at the speed stat, Pinchurin is slightly slower. So this team is going to be kind of slow. So I would run maybe Impish, but I think I'm going to run Relaxed in this case. So we'll go maybe max HP and we'll go a bit of attack as well. Can I not run attack? Okay, there. So yeah, this is another Pokemon I would run like this. And I keep doing this. Personally, I would run what's it called? Impish, but if I'm using a Ferrothorn right now in Wi-Fi battles and Sword and Shield, and it's relaxed nature. So, and it's been doing well for me so far. So I'm not really going to complain. So it hasn't failed me yet. So, and if this speed nature cocks me somehow, and look, we lost like a little bit of speed. We were 76, we went down to 78. So it's really not that bad. But personally, I would run Impish, but I'm running Relaxed on my one. So don't follow my advice. I would run, again, like I'm saying, run Impish instead, not Relaxed. So yeah. But anyway, Ferrothorn is good. It can wall out psychic types. It can kill other... Not gonna kill ground types. Yeah, it can kill ground types. And again, if you have any water types, because obviously, as you see, if you run into any water types or ice types, like for example, Lapras, I'm not too sure, but I think Lapras is common for running Freeze Dry, and that is a huge problem for Swampert and Hawlucha. So personally, I would actually run this because Freeze Dry actually comes in clutch because Ice is neutral on Ferrothorn. On top of that, if you can get a Leech Seed off, you force them to swap out. Or if they're Gigantamax, it kind of doesn't, but still, again, if you can get Stealth Rock up, it does huge damage. You'll do maybe like, say maybe a few bits to Lapras, maybe about a quarter if you're lucky, but still that depends. Leech Seed again, if you can manage to land it, you'll get quite a bit of HP back. And on top of that, I think you get more HP back from a Dynamax or a Gigantamax Pokemon, so I think you'll be fine. And personally, I'm trying to think what else. Like, you will Psychic types, like I said, so you don't need to worry about that. Now, I wanted to run Bishop instead of Ferrothorn, but Bishop is a bit too frail for this team. Now, obviously, we already have two frail users being Hawlucha and Regieleki. Obviously, Hawlucha can obviously cover for the grass weakness. Ferrothorn can also cover for ground weaknesses as well. So, personally, I think Ferrothorn's quite good to use. It's quite a good addition. Now, that brings us moving on to our last member. Now, this last member, I'm thinking, okay, Hawlucha's not going to be around forever. So, if we don't bring Hawlucha, we might want to bring a fire type. But again, if I look at my team, we have one or two Pokemon weak to ground types. We don't want to add any more ground weaknesses. And on top of that, if we add a fire type that adds, well, water weakness or rock weakness, we have Hawlucha who's already got a rock weakness. Who's got a water weakness here? No one. But still, look, we add one water weakness. So personally, I was trying to look for a Levitate Firemon, and one that I thought would be quite useful would be Rotom Heats. Rotom Heat is not that bad. It's a really good one. Personally, I like Rotom Wash and Rotom Mow more, but obviously for this case, we want to run Rotom Heat. So I would run either Heavy Duty Boots, Citrus Berry, or Leftovers. But personally, I think you should run Heavy Duty Boots because you can get away with not being hit by rocks or spikes or toxic spikes. You'll be perfectly fine. You don't have to worry about it. On top of that, you'll levitate, so you won't even get hit by spikes actually. So yeah, and you don't get hit by toxic spikes either. So anyway, it's only rocks you have to really worry about. So that is quite a good item to have on you. Now, as for movesets, personally, I was trying to think: do I want to make a fast, hard-hitting Rotom, or do I want to have a bulky Rotom? Now, we already have our Pokemons. Pinchurin is like a test in development, but we'll see. But we have two Pokemons being in Swampert and Ferrothorn. Now, obviously, with Swampert's high HP, same with Ferrothorn, it can guarantee at least maybe 1, possibly 2 hits. Now, with Rotom Heat, I was thinking, okay, we don't have many Pokemon that can potentially hit on the special side. Like, we only have Regieleki, so I thought, okay, we might want to get a Pokemon that hits quite hard specially. So I thought, okay, let us run, obviously, we're going to run Overheat. Because every Rotom Heat has this, which Rotom Heat doesn't? And as for this next one, we want to actually burn any physical attackers that come in. So, for example, huge physical attackers in the last season that came up, that just ended not too long ago. Hippowdon, Dracozolt, which I still think is going to be in the current season right now, which kind of sucks. I'm hoping it gets banned. If it doesn't, then we're kind of going to be in trouble, because Dracozolt and the rest of the fossils have been introduced to their hidden abilities because they've been put in raids. So the Galar fossils actually have Sand Rush, so we're going to see a lot more Hippowdons, Tyrannitars. They're going to be paired up with Dracozolt a lot as well, and any of the other fossils, Dracozolt or Dracovish. Those are the main two we're going to probably see. Now, obviously, Rotom Heat can't hit Dracozolt. It can hit Dracovish for neutral damage with electric attacks, but we have Regieleki and Ferrothorn for that, so we don't really need to worry about that. And for Dracozolt, we have Swampert. We don't really have to worry about that either. So again, this thing's only here. It's kind of like a utility Pokemon. So we're not going to run Volt Switch. We're actually going to run Thunderbolts, because I would run Discharge, but obviously if we use this team in doubles, I want to try and use this team both in doubles and singles, because I feel like it would work in both. But if it doesn't end up working in one, obviously this is only meant to be for one apparently, but yeah. So yeah, we're running Overeat, Will-O-Wisp and Thunderbolt, sorry. So for the last move, I'm thinking, okay, what do we want to have? Do we want to have either Pain Split? Do we want to have what, like, let's see, what other moves does it get? Duro 101, like I was saying, Discharge. Thunder Wave was another example that I really wanted to use, but then I thought, okay, but we need something that can actually hit quite hard. And if I notice, we don't have any sort of setup mons on our team yet, which is quite odd for me, because I like to set up and use hacks all the time. And as for hacks, I really don't have anything else with hacks other than this thing, and maybe Ferrothorn as well. So I'm thinking, okay, Nasty Plot. Nasty Plot is a good move. It raises your special attack, I think, by 3 stages. 2 stages. Excuse me, god damn, I just ate, so I apologize if you can hear me choking on what I just ate, but still. Yeah, but still, Nasty Plot, it raises your special attack by 2 stages. I thought it was 3, I don't know why, but still, it makes sense. I have a Ninetales with Nasty Plot, but still. So yeah, it raises your special by 2 stages, so that will be good. On top of that, it will actually come in really handy. So regardless, this thing is really good. And as for nature, I completely forgot to mention that. As for nature, I would run, if you want to run bulky, that is fine, but your set will have to change. So you wouldn't be able to run Nasty Plot, you would have to run maybe like, what, Pain Splits, maybe? I don't know, it's really up to you. Like, for example, if we were to run Pain Split on this thing instead, what would it set be? It would be a bulky mon. See, look, it would live. So, yet again, like, for example, what? It would be Modest, exactly. So, but if we ran Nasty instead, the set automatically changes. We get into a fast special sweeper. Like, for example, if we go on this thing, it's a fast specs, literally. So again, but yeah, we would run HP on this. We run some special attack. We want to run fast nature. So we're gonna actually take all these stats off. But yeah, we want to run that, and yeah, we would be honestly fine. So, and as for the last stat, I'd run, what is your well, both your defenses are quite good, but I'm gonna run some HP instead. So we're gonna actually run Timid instead of Modest. So Timid will be better because it outspeeds, and Rotom Heat is not necessarily fast. I kind of wish they just gave it those 2 extra points in speed, because we've only got 298, but can't really do anything about that. But again, it's still a good mon. I think it'll be good. And look, if Holucha goes down, this is our backup, what we need to handle grass types right here. On top of that, it's got Levitate. Ground types don't hit, apart from Mold Breaker, Haxorus, and any other Mold Breaker monsters that are introduced. Which honestly, I thought Rampardos was going to be in the DLC, so that was another really big threat that I'm glad that wasn't put in. So yeah, just be careful, be wary of Mold Breaker users. So Holucha is another one that gets Mold Breaker. I'm not too sure if it gets Earthquake or any like moves that can hit you with ground, but still, just be wary of water and rock types. As long as you don't stay in, well, what types you might be able to outspeed, and you'll have hopefully have a nasty plot up. And even so, if you don't, a Thunderbolt should be enough. As long as you don't keep it against Dracovish, don't keep it against Haxorus. You might want to keep it against Haxorus. You might just want to Will-O-Wisp it and then just get out of there. Don't do anything else. Just if you miss the Will-O-Wisp, you just get out regardless, because you're not going to live a second Earthquake from this Haxorus. So yeah, but anyway, this is what the team's looking like. So the team's looking pretty nice. Next video I do, we'll have some nicknames obviously on these mons. But yeah, we're going to be battling with this team in our next video. This team is looking pretty nice. I'm liking it. So obviously, again, some of these Pokemon are in development for if they're staying on this team. But yeah, I think it looks pretty nice. But anyway, regardless guys, I hope you enjoyed this little team builder video. I know it was a fairly longer video. I don't like to make my videos too long, but I do apologize. And plus, what's going on with Pokemon Sienna, I am going to put a pause to that currently. And I'm going to be focusing more on team building and just battles. So that's what I'm mainly going to be focusing on. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this little team builder video. We'll be having a team battle with this team, or a few battles with this team, maybe in our next video on Showdown. I'm also going to try building this team in my Pokemon Shield file anyway. So we should hope it be Gucci. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm LucaMAEntertainment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out guys.